I've had a few people ask how I do my bullet journal, so I thought I would show it. I had this Moleskine journal that came in a pack of 3, I think, from like years ago, and I thought that was a good practice start, not spending any more money on anything, just to see if I liked the bullet journal system, which I will link down below what a bullet journal is, and I'm kind of presuming if you're watching this you have some idea what a bullet journal is. So I put this on the front page, which is from some sort of like knockoff Project Life that I liked. And then here's my index. And I'm doing this right now because I'm almost done. I could only fit to April. I had set up 2 pages, like I was going to need 2 pages in this little 76-page journal, but I did not need 2 pages. I set this up, and I don't really use most of these, so when I make my next one, which I will maybe also make a video of my setup, I'm probably just going to do the first 3. I do notes. I do write all of these things in here, I just don't specifically mark what they are most of the time. So I started with the 6 month. I only needed 4 months actually for this size of journal. And honestly, I don't ever plan things far enough ahead for this to have been really useful. I had nothing in March that was planned ahead, and I don't know of anything this month that's planned ahead, so it wasn't actually, I don't know if I will continue to even do this kind of future planner. When I started, I did a memory page, and I filled out my first one pretty well. So I liked it, and I'm just not sure about that anymore, but so I started Capture Your 365 in January, and I did Yoga with Adrienne's yoga camp, and I took my mom and brother and husband out for sushi because they all have birthdays close together, and Sean got me a drawing tablet, and we started watching this anime called My Love Story, which was really sweet, and we watched that in January. And I did my month here. And I do like this style of month because I don't have a lot of things that I plan ahead, and so I don't need a lot of space. This worked out good. I didn't even really need this much space, but it was nice to see a month on one page. So I do my to-do every month, and I do this, I call it perks. It's really just, Sean does the main budget, that's my husband, he does the main budget, and it didn't need to be in this journal. So I just do the budgeting for going and buying wine and eating out at restaurants. And I have a certain amount of times I can afford to do that every month. And so I just put check boxes for how many times I can afford to do that this month. And then there we go. I put in the list for Capture Your 365, which is a photo project where you get a prompt for every day and you try to take a photo for that prompt. I'll link that down below too. It's really fun, and I do it on Instagram, and there's a really good community, and it's really nice. So at first, I was kind of following the system. I had some inspiration from some YouTube videos I'd watched. Again, I will link some people below who I had watched videos from. And I don't know who I got every little idea from anymore, because it was a lot of videos, and a lot of different people are doing a lot of fun things with bullet journals. So at first I was just doing a to-do list. I was putting down the high and low temperature. I did one little journal line. But it wasn't very pretty, and it was kind of messy, and I wasn't really crazy about it. So then I started trying to be a little more colorful. I decided I'm gonna do January like this, and I started adding Sean at some point and the things that he has to do every day, because mostly it's actually a journal for me. It's not a planner. A lot of people use it mostly as a planner. It does help me stay organized, but I feel like it's more fun for me to just think of it as a journal where I happen to keep anything I might write down. To-do lists, just memories of the day, the things we did in a day that you don't necessarily go into a lot of detail about, which I will, at this point I was showing that, like, what video games we played in this really, like, simple journaly way, and what shows we watched. But later I get a little bit fancier with that. So I had, like, things I would like to change. Decided I wanted to not just do dailies, which actually I mostly do dailies now, and do a habit tracker, though I called it something else because I don't like the word tracker, which is probably silly. It's windy today. I don't know if you can hear that. So then I started watching, like, putting how we watch TV, and I do this little, like, this is TV I watched during the day while Sean was at work, and then this is TV we watched in the evening together. And I was doing my mood, which I used to actually have a different journal I did my mood in, and eventually I stopped putting my mood in here, and that was sort of silly, but I think about adding it back in, but then I have an app that I've been kind of putting my mood in. So I came up with this, like, daily schedule, and this is kind of like, if I'm feeling like I'm sort of floundering at any sort of time of day, I kind of can look at this and say, what have I done everything up to this point in the day already? If I haven't, then maybe I should be doing what it says at this hour, or I should be going back and doing one of the earlier things, or obviously any of the, like, free time I can trade in for chores or whatever. And then I put what books I've read so far this year. So I've read 5 books so far. Started trying to get more colorful. I was feeling like I was really cramped because I put 2 on this page, and I had all this space down here, but I didn't know what to do with it, and I had been so, like, tight in this spread right here, and I was sort of irritated with myself. So I did this, it's okay to take up space, a reminder moving forward, and then I realized that because it was space themed, it would be funny if it were boldly going forward. And so I marked that out and added, it's also okay to make mistakes. And this page actually, like, really helped me feel less anxious about everything I did with the whole rest of the journal. So then the next time I took an entire page for one day. And I had this plan. I was like, I'm gonna find a quote to put there, and then I never did. And that's how you figure out that maybe some aspect of how other people bullet journal is not for you. And putting in quotes is not for me. And then it was February. And again, we didn't have a whole lot planned for the month. My to-do, my perks, I actually did. Totally did these, just didn't check them off. That was silly. So then I started adding in the habit tracker, which I call routine. And I put on this side, this is Sean's stuff every day, which is going to work, and he injured his shoulder recently, so he has to do special stretches every day. And so there you see, actually I didn't color in the last day of this either, and we did do things on the last day, but who knows, so long ago. So purple is every day I did yoga, and blue is every day I did the dishes, and green is all the solid green is when I cooked. Out is that we ate out. The green around an S means that Sean cooked dinner. The SP is that we had dinner with Sean's parents. LO right there is that it's leftovers, but the little half green means it's leftovers of something I cooked. So I still feel like I'm kind of, like, responsible for us having leftovers that day. I was good about taking my vitamins at first, and then I got not so good. I drink water every day. The 2 was supposed to be if I drank 2 bottles of water. Big bottles, they're like 32 ounces. And then the red was general tidy, which what that basically means is that I walk around the house, and if there's anything that I can see that's not in its place and it has a place, I pick it up and put it there, and it makes life so much nicer. It's just ridiculous. So then I did February memories again, and as you can see, I only used half of the page, and it kind of made me rethink how I'm going to do that. I'm kind of thinking maybe from now on, if there's something that I consider memorable enough to illustrate, I will just illustrate it on the day that it happened, because the whole page was not really necessary. But in February, a new restaurant opened in town that we can walk to, and so I was sort of marking that. My husband's grandmother went into the hospital, and I got the flu, which was not fun. So in February, I changed the way that I do my daily headers, and I really liked this. Again, really, like, colorful and fun. And I got these really cute Korean stickers from Amazon, which I'll link below, that are really good for journaling. There's a whole lot of really fun Korean stickers that are really like they're made for this kind of journaling. February, I was really happy with the way things looked in February. At this point I was doing 3 a day, and I actually like how like cluttered and colorful that made it work, but I ended up going to 2 a day at some point. Here's a shopping wish list, which I was expecting to add to, but it's still got quite a bit on it, and I've actually bought some of these things. There's a hint about my next bullet journal right there. So that'll be migrating to my next journal. And then here's where I switched to 2 entries a day. And I didn't finish coloring this part. And there, it's March. So in March, we had a little more going on. Like Sean had spring break, which went on a whole week, so I did this little down arrow throughout the time that he was going to be on spring break. I have to manually pay my phone bill because their website is screwy. So I have to pay it. It won't auto draft anymore. So I put that down. I've got responsibilities now. My March to-do, the perks, my Capture 365 list. Did really good on a lot of this, and I really do, this is one of my favorite things about the bullet journal is kind of the things you do every day, routine and schedule, which is really important to keeping me like mentally well. That was really good. I gave the memory drawing page another chance, and I skipped it for April. So March was the last time I voted. We went on a picnic, but I mark those on the days that we did them. I even use Sean's I voted sticker, so it was really unnecessary to have the memory page. For me, I changed again the header. I change every month. It's just sort of like maybe eventually I'll find a header that's like, this is the one and I love it, but I kind of also like getting to change every month. It's fun, and coming up with a new way to do it is fun, and I really enjoy that. And I'm pretty much steady 2 a day at this point. I started drawing in little, when we play video games, I draw a little controller and color it in with our color, and that's fun. I don't do like a weekly planner or to-do usually, but that's a pretty common bullet journal thing. And I had a really busy week because we were going to have like spring break, and I was going to have my mother-in-law down for her birthday, and I really wanted to cook a really fancy meal and a fancy dessert, and I wanted to have the house look really nice and homey and comforty. And so I had a lot to do, and so I needed a weekly list. So I do that sometimes. And we were planning a picnic, and I thought it'd be a good idea to have just a list of good picnic foods that I could later revisit, because I always have trouble coming up with, we're vegan, so I always have trouble coming up with good vegan picnic foods. I had like big spring break plans, like we were going to do a bunch of things, and we did most of these things. And we've done the final thing, playing and running D&D, since then, so it all got done, but I thought I'll need a whole half of a page for our spring break wish list, and I didn't. When we went on a picnic, I used this little washi tape strip and drew a little ant and picnic things. When we go on a date night, there's always lots of hearts. I decided when I bake, I'm gonna use a little, draw a little whisk. On Easter, I put a little bunny. Every Monday, my mom comes over, and so I call that Monday Mama. If she actually does, because sometimes, she can't, but almost every Monday she comes over and she paints. So there was March. April, I have like nothing planned except paying bills for April. And we're just started in April. It's the 6th, so I didn't color in for the 5th yet, except that we had leftovers for dinner last night. Yesterday was kind of a hard day for me. I mowed the lawn yesterday. Already eaten out and gone to get wine. So here's my Capture 365 list for this month. As you can see, I did yesterday off prompt because I couldn't really think of a picture to take for bread, and I wasn't having a very good day. So and here you can see I changed my little header again, and I'm always experimenting with how I draw weather. It's one of the most fun things for me is to draw wind. In April, I decided to start doing a weekly menu. I did have this other little journal that I was doing my weekly menu in, And I was also writing the shopping list in that journal. And then I would tear the shopping list out and we would go shopping, and then I would keep the weekly menu in the journal so that I could, you know, kind of come back to it. If I was having a week where I was having trouble coming up with something to cook, I could look through the menu and be like, that was a good week, and let's just do this week again. But I decided to start putting the actual menu in here and then just keep doing the shopping list in the other journal, since I was tearing it out anyway. And it'd be really nice to sort of have, even though I do write what we cooked on any given night, on the individual days, I thought it would be nice to, like, I have what cookbook it's from and the page number and just a nice little reference to keep using. This was, being my first week, really kind of messy and not colorful, and I didn't really think about what I was doing, and it was kind of a mess, but whatever. But that ended up taking a little bit of the page, so then I did Sunday there, and then I started kind of doing this, like, ideas for my next bullet journal. And I have this Q&A journal that I pretty much just completely stopped using once I got into doing the bullet journal stuff. And that's one thing I like about the bullet journal, is that it's like all of your journals into one, and that's like really, really nice for me. But I kind of feel sad because it was a 5-year question and answer journal, and I did 4 years, and then now I have kind of failed here in the 5th year. Though my answers weren't varying very much, so it wasn't that interesting, but I thought I would just, in my next bullet journal, which is going to be a little bit bigger, I would just put the question in and answer it there, and then that would be kind of a fun thing to do every day, to answer a question every day. And then some other things that I'm doing that I want to either mark in routine or at least put on my daily, things that I have to do, not maybe every day, but that I do quite a bit, and I want to make more blog posts. So I do make a few blog posts a month, usually a couple a week on good weeks. But I've never tracked that in here in any way, and I don't really track any of my like social media or internet stuff in any way with this, and I thought it might be kind of fun to sort of start putting that stuff in. I mean, I do my Instagram, Capture365 prompt stuff in here, but I haven't really been doing anything else. So here we are, this is today. As you can see, all I've done is my yoga. I actually did my blog catch up, and this is the beginning of me wanting to put blog stuff in here. And I've sort of done ahead, just kind of trying to see like how many pages I've got left in this, because I do not have very many. Got a few pages left before I start my next one. And I decided I'm gonna kind of change how I do the menu, because I didn't like that it like cut into my page in this way. It's fine to, you know, take up space and make mistakes, but it's also good to find like a more efficient and pretty way to do things. And I like the freedom of the bullet journal to do stuff like that. So I've got a few empty pages, and then I was doing pen tests to kind of check and see how they like bled through, which I've used this to practice my menu stuff, to see how they look and how they bleed through, and it was fine. Like, the brush pens bleed through a little bit, but I only use those for my like month header stuff, and then I'm usually doing it like there's something on the next page, so you don't really see it too bad. And then the colored pencils that I use are Prismacolor, and they're really smooth and nice, and I love them. And I like using colored pencils because you don't get a whole lot of bleed through. Like, you can see the color through, but it's not too bad. And they're bright and vibrant, and I like that. And then the last couple pages, so I was sort of like practicing writing on this paper with my Sharpie pen, and kind of coming up with like little like wingdings that I want to use if there's some certain kind of event or something. And I use some of them sometimes. I would like to use more of them, because I do. This makes me like really happy to look at this, and it makes me happy to look at all these little like handwriting practice, because I don't think I have very good handwriting, and this feels like good practice for having better handwriting. In the back there's a little flap, and I have my cute Korean stickers back there. Super fun Really like them. I bought a whole bunch more for my next journal, which I will show when I show my new journal. And that is that. Thanks for watching.